Hi guys, this is Hero. How's everyone doing today? आज welcome to आज सब कैसे हो? So today I'm going over Rahu Ketu's transit in the sign of Rahu is going into Pisces and Ketu is going into Virgo. Okay, this transit is occurring from around October 30th of this year of 2023 to around May 18th of 2025. Okay, so almost or just about a year and a half. Okay, which is around the standard length for Rahu Ketu's sign transits. Now, initially, from a general standpoint, Ketu does somewhat well in Mars and Jupiter signs, okay, which is Aries, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Pisces, or the planets that own both a fire and a water sign, as the explosive planet is. And Rahu does well in the opposite, okay, which is Venus and Mercury's signs. So that would be Taurus, Gemini, Virgo, and Libra. Okay, the Earth or the planets, I guess you could say, the two material planets that are always closest to the sun. Okay, as it likes to give that material benefit. Okay. However, you notice here that they are in the opposite. So Rahu is in Pisces, which is Jupiter's sign, the Guru sign, and Ketu is in Virgo, okay, which is Mercury's main sign. I said Ketu is in Virgo and Rahu is in Pisces. This is not super ideal, okay, from a general standpoint. However, from any standpoint, you can look at a situation as good or bad. However, I'm saying not ideal from the material standpoint. Why? Because let's just take Ketu, right? It likes to detach, be spiritual, be intuitive, all this kind of stuff, okay? It governs past life and intuition. So you want to utilize your past life and intuition on certain conventional spiritual or religious things. You do not want to utilize, it is not, I guess, the most materially ideal to utilize your past life or intuition, karmas, or things like that on decision making. You want your decision making to not come from a place of past life karma and be based off of intuition. You want your decision making to be based off of almost anything else besides intuition. Okay, from a general perspective, material perspective. Okay, if all your decision making is based off of past life intuition and things like that, you can see how this ends in disaster. It is not a very grounded place to make decisions from. Okay. Same with Rahu and Pisces. Okay. You want Rahu to give things based off of expansion, materialism, things like that. You do not want it to give things that lead to detachment and losses and things like that, which is what Pisces represents, letting go. So you can see how this transit, from a material standpoint, in general, could be a little bit viewed on the negative side. Okay, this is just in general. You got to look at everything, but I'm just laying down the initial foundation of where to get started. Okay, next thing. So I just said in general how these planets act in these signs. Now here, out of the other big moving planet, okay, let's just say Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn doesn't really impact this transit directly. So what does that mean? It doesn't aspect Rahu Ketu, or Rahu Ketu don't aspect it, right? And Jupiter does move into Taurus throughout most of the second half of this transit. When it moves into Taurus, Ketu and Jupiter both aspect each other, which is very, very strong for what? Decision making, right? Because why? Ketu's in Virgo and Jupiter's in Taurus, right? So what do you notice about these two, right? They're both earth signs, but these earth things represent necessities, right? So Taurus is things that you kind of need to an extent. And Virgo is things that you need to do, more like decisions you need to make. Okay. So wisdom in regards, because yeah, Ketu is a little bit more lost than Jupiter, more focused on past life and karma and things like that, where Jupiter's kind of just, I guess, the most wise. But Ketu also has a very strong sense of wisdom as well and can make things happen. So the both of them two combined, aspecting each other, could mean that your sense of getting a grip on decisions you need to make and things that you need and things regarding just needs in general could get a little bit stronger. Okay, so you would like to utilize this the best way possible, because if you utilize this properly, because this transit just doesn't come every day, right? Where Ketu's in Virgo and Jupiter's in Taurus, right? So when these are here, you can get a sense of awareness of necessities that could carry with you for the rest of your life, okay? Because there's never going to be a combination exactly like this, okay? Ever. So just do what you can with the transits while they're here, still here with you, especially if you're running the dashas of one of these planets. Which brings me to my next point. So this Rahu Ketu is in these signs, right? They may or they may not be that impactful towards you, okay? It depends on the dashas you're running. For example, if you're running a Ketu or Rahu Mahadasha, this sign change is going to be very, very, very big, okay? For example, let's just say you're running Ketu Mahadasha. It was in Libra, so there's going to be a lot of focus on other people. Maybe certain people left your life or is coming into your life for a very temporary period and things like that. When it goes into Virgo, okay, the sense of people or the flavor of people in your life is probably going to change unless you're running an Antardasha coincidentally at the same time of the change that, or around the same time, that also involves karma with other people, which that's a separate thing. But just looking at that aside, just for this hypothetical example, when it goes into Virgo, the shift is going to focus from people to decisions, okay? Rational decisions that involve your needs, okay? There could be some decisions you have to make in regard to finances, because Virgo is the original, it's a sixth sign, right? And if you convert it into houses, right, the sixth house is all about frustration. So it could be some decisions involving avoiding frustration or dealing with frustrations or things like that, okay, just in general, even if your Ketu has no connection to the sixth house at all in your chart or anything like that, okay? Right, so that's one example of how this could play out. You also have to keep in mind, if you're running dashas of other planets, okay, and well, obviously, if those planets are connected to Rahu Ketu in your natal chart, they're going to affect it somehow. But let's just say they're not, okay? When these dashas of planets that you're running transit through Pisces or Virgo, they're going to be impacted by this Rahu and Ketu, okay? So therefore, when that happens, you're going to feel a little bit of that flavor impacting the dasha of the planet that you're running, right? This is completely normal, and this is just all of a part of what you signed up here to do. Let's take an example, an easy example. Let's say you have Venus, okay? Venus happens to get exalted in Pisces, okay? Great. People have a very large misconception about what it means for a planet to be exalted. It does not mean that it's going to produce necessarily the materially best results. It just means the planet is in the direct best spiritual placement, right? So for example, Venus, when it's in Pisces, it gets exalted because spiritually you're forced to detach from your luxuries, right? It's not necessarily whatever you thought exaltation means all the time. But let's just take this example. So your Venus is passing through Pisces, okay? And let's just say you're running a Venus Mahadasha, or even under Dasha at some level, okay? So something regarding people and luxuries and things you want is coming. Now, normally it would just ask you to detach, right? Maybe somehow let go, possibly pretty gracefully, okay? Because it's Venus. However, because it's Rahu's there, so Rahu also is a material planet, right? So it will really force you to detach, possibly from okay, now I'm not gonna say all, but it will force you to detach possibly from a relationship or a thing or something that you are very, very, very attached to. Okay. And it's kind of for your better good because you are running Venus who's in Pisces, but it will cause a lot of frustration and illusion breakdown because that Rahu is there. Okay. So that's kind of how this transit really could work. So I covered the general sense of how it is if you're running the dashas of those planets, and if you're running the dashas of other planets, kind of how it could go. Okay. Now, one other thing is that Rahu is in Pisces and Ketu is in Virgo. So before, Rahu was in Aries, excuse me, and Ketu was in Libra. Okay, so those two are ruled by Mars and Venus. So your Rahu is kind of affecting your Mars, your things that you're doing, and Ketu is kind of affecting your Venus, which is the material side of you. Okay, now it's shifting. Okay, so yeah, the actual energies are shifting, like sign wise, but it's also the planets it's affecting are shifting. Okay, so Ketu is now affecting Mercury the most instead of your Venus, and Rahu is affecting your Jupiter the most because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter instead of your Mars. Okay, so your Rahu could affect your like Jupiterian side of you. Okay, your guru basically. Okay, so watch out for that. Just your guru in general. How is it possibly being guided under an illusion? And watch out for your Buddha, right? Your rational intelligence, your sharp mind. Okay, how is it possibly being influenced overly by intuition if possible? See if you can kind of notice this pattern. Okay, and work on it from there. Okay, and how do you work on it? If you've been watching my videos, you know. Acceptance of fears, acceptance of expectations not being fulfilled or coming true, etc. I have a bunch of videos on spiritual and mental mindset that you can watch, okay? I'll make more videos throughout this transit, let's just say nakshatra transits or things like that. But for right now, I think this will be it for now, okay? So that's it, yeah. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later. Thank you all very, very much for watching.